Ah, the grand theater of international diplomacy, where the stakes are high, the players are seasoned, and the scripts are, well, let's just say they're open to interpretation. Welcome, dear viewers, to another episode of What in the World is Happening Now? The show where we dissect the news with a surgical scalpel of irony, a dash of wit, and a sprinkle of truth. Today, we're diving into the latest escapades of none other than the man of the hour, the titan of tweets, the one and only Donald J. Trump. Yes, folks, the president who could charm a snake while simultaneously berating it for being a snake. Now picture this, a phone call that could have been mistaken for an episode of a suspense thriller. 2 hours of dialogue, 2 leaders, and a 30-day ceasefire that, according to our presidential protagonist, would have never been necessary under his watch. Guns are pointed, soldiers are encircled, and the world holds its breath as America's very own reality TV star turned commander-in-chief steps into the spotlight, ready to negotiate peace, or at least a good headline. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. This wasn't just any phone call. It was a call with Vladimir Putin, the man with whom Trump has more chemistry than a high school science lab. The Kremlin reportedly stated that Putin demanded an immediate cessation of aid to Ukraine for a deal to materialize. But our hero assures us, aid was not on the docket. It seems aid was as absent from this conversation as logic is from a conspiracy theory convention. The conversation, we're told, was about fostering a better bilateral relationship between the United States and Russia. After all, who doesn't want to be friends with a country that's got more rare earth elements than a geology textbook? And what about China, you ask? Ah, the ever-elusive President Xi, who Trump assures us is also eager to get along, despite that pesky little trade imbalance. It seems the world is a stage, and everyone is trying to be the best supporting actor in the Trump show. And speaking of shows, let's not forget the subplot involving the infamous Nord Stream 2 pipeline. According to Trump, he put a stop to the biggest pipeline project in the world, only for his successor to give it the green light faster than you can say, energy crisis. It's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as the last administration. One leader's triumph is another's travesty. Now, as we navigate this diplomatic dance, Trump reminds us of his nationalist credentials. He's a nationalist for the United States, not for anyone else, thank you very much. He's the man who pointed out the Nord Stream 2, stopped it in its tracks, and left an indelible mark on international pipelines everywhere. If there were a Nobel Prize for pipeline prevention, well, you know who'd be on stage accepting it. But let's not forget the friendships forged in the fires of international diplomacy. Trump's list of good relationships reads like a who's who of global leaders. Putin, Xi, Kim Jong-un. It's a veritable collection of pen pals that would make any world leader envious. And yet, for all this camaraderie, Trump's focus remains squarely on America. After all, who else could steer the ship of state through such turbulent waters and come out the other side with nothing more than a few tweets and a couple of sound bites? As we wrap up this whirlwind tour of global politics, we invite you, dear viewers, to weigh in on the conversation. Do you think these diplomatic efforts will lead to a new era of peace and prosperity? Or are we merely watching the latest episode of a long-running saga? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and let's get the dialogue going. And while you're at it, why not subscribe to our channel? We promise to keep delivering the news with all the wit, irony, and incisive commentary you've come to expect. Hit that like button if you enjoyed our satirical spin, and don't forget to share this video with your fellow news aficionados. After all, in a world where the news is stranger than fiction, we're here to keep you entertained, informed, and maybe even a little bit enlightened. Until next time, stay sharp, stay skeptical, and remember, in the game of politics, the truth is often the first casualty. But fear not, for we're here to pick up the pieces and make sense of it all. One satirical news story at a time.